In the world of 1970s and 80s science fiction television, most commanders got to be charismatic, got redemption arcs, got the girl, and usually got to go home at the end of the day. Ed Straker, however, portrayed with steely intensity and hidden heartbreak by the great Ed Bishop, never got any of those things. He was the first truly adult protagonist in a Gerry Anderson production, a man who traded every piece of his personal life on the altar of duty, and the universe never bothered to pay him back. Straker began as a decorated United States Air Force colonel, a pilot and former astronaut from Boston. In the early 1970s, the series' present-day flashback era, he was one of the few people on Earth who had the undeniable proof that hostile aliens were visiting, and they weren't friendly tourists. A pivotal moment came when Straker and General James Henderson were riding in a Rolls-Royce to present evidence to the Prime Minister. A UFO attacked. Henderson was gravely injured. Straker survived. From that day forward, the friendship fractured, and Straker's life became the project that would become SHADO, Supreme Headquarters Alien Defense Organization. He built an international secret defense force under the perfect cover, running a film studio above ground, while command bunkers hummed 30 meters below. He recruited the best, enforced ironclad secrecy, and made the brutal calculations that kept humanity alive. But for every decision cost him something irreplaceable.
Now, 400 people work up there, and not one of them knows all this exists. I have to play games, pretending to be the studio's chief executive. No one even dreams what my real function is. That's what security's all about. Have you ever thought about the victims of UFO incidents? Have you ever considered their parents, brothers, sisters? What do we tell them? They can never know the truth.
In the episode Confetti Check A-OK, we see the beginning of the end. Straker marries Mary Nightingale, a bright Ministry of Defense secretary. For a brief moment, there's champagne, smiles, hope, and a bit of romance. Then the recruitment begins. Late nights, unexplained absences, the growing wall of secrets. Mary senses something is wrong. She asks questions Straker can't answer, not without endangering her life under SHADO's security protocols. The marriage crumbles under the weight of what he cannot say. Their son John is born into a family already breaking apart. By the time the series proper begins in 1980, Straker is divorced and limited visiting nights, one day a month, and Mary has remarried. He has become a ghost in his son's own life, whereas the tragedy reaches its cruelest point in a question of priorities. Widely regarded as one of the series' most finest and most heartbreaking episodes, John, now a young boy, is spending a rare day with his father at the film studio, which of course is the cover for SHADO HQ. An argument with Mary follows, and on the way home, John is hit by a car and critically injured. He needs a specific antibiotic quickly. Straker breaks every rule he's ever enforced. He orders a SHADO supersonic plane to rush the medicine from America, but his second-in-command, Alec Friedman, unaware of the personal stakes, diverts the flight to investigate a potential alien defector. Straker faces the ultimate test of his own doctrine. Does he reveal the truth and compromise security, or does he stay silent and let protocol run its course? He stays silent. The plane arrives too late, and of course, John dies. Mary, who's devastated, screams at Straker in the hospital corridor. She never knows that the man she blames was trying desperately to save their son. She never knows the impossible choice he made, and Straker carries that knowledge of burden alone forever.
I never want to see you again.
Throughout the series, Straker remains the unflinching commander, cold, decisive, sometimes ruthless. He orders mind wipes, sacrifices operatives, stared down alien threats without flinching. But the cracks show in quiet moments. Brief, awkward attempts at human connection, like with reporter Joe Frazier, collapse under the weight of secrecy. He refuses alcohol, even with a fully stocked bar in his office, a small private act of discipline in a life with almost no pleasure left. In hallucinations and nightmare, the guilt resurfaces, his son's death reduced to a great episode in one mind-bending story. Straker has become the job. The man who once had a wedding, a beautiful wife, and a laughing child is now a figure in white hair, walking away alone at the end of the long sleep, still fighting, still sacrificing, still paying. In a genre full of triumphant heroes, Ed Straker stands out as something far more rare, a man who loses, keeps losing, and keeps going anyway, not because it's noble, but because someone has to. He is the embodiment of UFO's darker tone, that defending humanity from a dying race of organ harvesters might require a commander willing to become a machine, and that the cost is everything that makes you human. Bishop gave us a performance of remarkable depth, a man whose world is black and white because any gray would destroy him. Straker never gets redemption. He never gets closure due to the series being canceled after one season. Thanks, America. He just gets another day, another alert, another reminder of what he can never have again. In the end, Commander Ed Straker didn't save the world for glory. He saved it because he already lost everything else. And sometimes that's the most tragic heroism of all. Since you made it to the end of the video, it's quite apparent that Ed Straker's life gut punched you too. Drop a like if A Question of Priorities is the single most devastating hour of television you've ever seen. Share this with that one friend who still thinks Gerry Anderson was just puppets and explosions. Comment below, did Straker get the absolute worst deal in sci-fi history, or was the price worth paying? Subscribe right now as I dive deep into forgotten classic and all the shows that broke us. The commander sacrificed everything. The least we can do is hit that bell. See you in the comments, Shadow Operatives.